and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.
Welcome to episode 32 of the Outer Voices Podcast. As always, we are your hosts, Keem and Esmè.
Yay!
Another show after another week of crazy things going on in the world. This show is going to be great. We have an interview with Chris Watson of the Podunk Polymath Podcast, a show that we've been featured on before, and we enjoyed. And Chris is a big supporter of our show and a friend, even though we are yet to meet him in person. But I consider him a friend. So he's going to come speak to us, and we have a very stimulating sex segment.
As always.
You see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
Yeah. But before we get into all of that, we are going to go straight into our news for the week. Would you like to go first, or should I?
Let me, I think.
Go for it.
So, if you are paying attention to the news, you have, of course, noticed there's a whole lot of shit going on right now to be incredibly pissed off about. But I don't want to be pissed off today. I want to talk about something that did not piss me off all that much, which is it mostly just kind of amused me, and then made me roll my eyes at internet comments, which is what I do. Which is the Ted Cruz Twitter scandal. Wherein Ted Cruz, or somebody who is presumably under his employ and has access to his Twitter page, went on and liked a hardcore porn like spam post on 9/11. And I only say on 9/11 as being something that's relevant because of reasons that will become clear later. Did you catch this one, Keem? I assume that you did based on how you're laughing. Right? Which...
I'm sorry.
No, it's kind of hilarious. This is Ted Cruz, who last year when he was campaigning for I believe as part of something that he said when he was campaigning for the Republican nomination for the presidency, made a public comment about how he doesn't believe that Americans have any fundamental right to stimulate their own genitals for non-reproductive purposes. Do you remember that he said that?
No, I didn't, but God damn it, Ted.
Yeah, he said that. And then, of course, his college roommate, hilariously trolled him on Twitter about it, which was great. But yeah, so this is Ted Cruz, who has, in his effort to either live up to his own ridiculously bullshit fundamentalist Christian standards, or as an effort to appease the ridiculously fundamentalist bullshit Christian standards of his, primary, base, did actually publicly say that he does not believe that Americans have a right to masturbate. And now this has happened.
Jesus.
Yay.
I bet that video was the first time he's seen somebody get fucked that hard since he lost his campaign.
Mm-hmm.
My God, that whole story, which on a serious note, if it was probably someone else accidentally did that on his Twitter profile. More than likely, he does not have very much control over his Twitter account.
Yeah.
Generally, most politicians don't. unless you're talking about you guys as
don't
president.
Say it.
And somebody needs to take away his control over his Twitter account.
Yeah.
But more than likely, it was an accident from someone else. But in a world where it wasn't, it speaks again to what we've discussed last week about politicians and morality, or what's considered morality.
Mm-hmm.
Because for most people, porn, and I'm saying most people, despite what conservative Christian America would want you to think, porn to most people is not something that anybody particularly thinks is too scandalous.
Yeah.
I would think that most adult Americans with internet watch pornography.
Yes, or at least an insignificant number of Americans with internet access.
Right.
And not a not insignificant number.
Yeah, like, of course I don't have any direct whatever, but so in reality, someone accidentally posting porn on their Twitter profile, it's funny, but it's not that big of a deal. It's not. I accidentally posted porn on Facebook when I was in college, which I don't understand how it got posted because I had never seen this porn video, and it was in my computer for some reason saved, but under a title that made no sense, had no reference to porn, but that's my own thing. But yeah, that's happened before, and all I did was took it down and was like, that happened, and got rid of it. But it's hilarious. It's messed up from the, of course, moral outrage that, besides the hilarity, the moral outrage that came with it. It's like, oh, look, I'm outraged because if he was watching it and whatever, and he accidentally did it, oh, you're a giant fucking hypocrite.
Yeah.
Like, I ain't faulting you for watching porn. I'm faulting you for being a fucking hypocrite.
Yeah. And that's what I want. That's what I wanted to comment on, right? So, like, so he's a public figure, and this was his public page for him as a public figure. So to post porn on that page, the one that kids are going to run across if they Google Ted Cruz, right? That was inappropriate, to be sure.
Also, children shouldn't be. Teenagers can Google Ted Cruz. Children shouldn't Google Ted Cruz.
Well, but I'm just saying, like, it is plausible that somebody under the age of consent would run across Ted Cruz's Twitter page in the process of researching him for completely unrelated reasons, right? Like, it was inappropriate for that to be posted on that page. But the thing that I wanted to kind of rail about, and why I mentioned specifically that the post had gone up on Monday, which was September 11, right, is that a bunch of the comments about it were like, a bunch of the comments that I saw about it were not just that it was hypocritical of him to post this thing given the public statements that he's made, but how inappropriate it was for him to post, for there to be a post about pornography on the anniversary of the September 11th attacks, and basically, like, sex shaming Ted, like, the effect that these had was, like, sex shaming Ted Cruz for having, like, even the inclination, like, even the desire to masturbate on such a quote unquote, like, significant day, right? Like, it's somehow inappropriate to feel sexual desire on the anniversary of something terrible happening.
Right.
Which is fucked up.
You're too sad for sex.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And it's all of America is supposed to be too sad for sex on September 11th. So you can't have those desires that day.
Right.
Yeah. It's un-American, honestly.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Like this isn't France where we're just all out just having sex and masturbating, like even on the most important of days.
Wait, we're
this
not?
is America. No, we're not.
Okay.
I didn't wake up on September 11th and go on Pornhub. I didn't do that. Not at all. Not at all. As he looks off into the distance. It's ridiculous. Which goes to a weird discussion on the idea of sex, of sexual pleasure being something that doesn't line up with American values.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yes.
Like you people, like you can't tell me that isn't a weird concept. That the idea that people are enjoying sex, even if it's 9/11 or not, we have this weird idea that like the enjoying of sex is something that's wrong and un-American.
It's because America is a Christian nation, don't you know?
And Christians don't enjoy sex.
Obviously.
Yeah. Only missionary. And if you enjoy it, it's a sin. And Jesus will cry and send hurricanes to Florida.
Yep.
Jesus Christ. But I will say, back on the lighter side of things, one of the best things that I saw come out of the Ted Cruz thing was one, Pornhub using it to advertise the fuck out of that video.
Yeah.
And I saw someone post, so with this being out here, let's start making up names for Republican pornos.
Oh, fuck.
And it was insane. Of course, Who's Nailing Palin popped up, but that's a real one.
Yeah.
But I don't mean to toot my own horn, but my favorite and the one I came up with was Make America Gape Again.
Oh, fuck. Jesus.
There was Cruising for a Bruising. Mooching the Cooch. It was, oh my God, it was
Anyway.
Trump in a Rump. Yeah, it was a blast. Like, the internet really showed out in a hilarious way, and my God. And if you ever want to play a game at home with your friends, Republican porn titles is a great one.
No, I already have my favorite game. I told you about my game that I invented last weekend. Which is describing Parks and Recreation like subplots using only emojis.
Oh, you nerd!
And then the other person has to guess what the plot was based on the emojis.
You know that only works with people as obsessed with Parks and Rec as you.
There's good news, which is that a lot of people in my life are very nearly as familiar with Parks and Recreation as I am. Like, I was sitting here last weekend in my living room watching Parks and Rec and literally playing that game with 3 different people.
Oh my God.
Literally 3 different people were playing that game with me last weekend at the same time because my friends are all huge geeks.
I actually stopped myself from watching Parks and Rec because of you.
That was a bad life choice. You should indulge.
Because
just embrace it. Obsessed. Just embrace it. Sink into it. It's worth it.
I've seen it. I've seen the entire series 3 times. I'm done.
That's not enough. You need it more. More Parks and Rec. More.
Anyway, let's move on into my news story. My Lord. Which definitely not as uplifting as the Cruz story. This comes from, well, it's been in quite a few news outlets, but the article I found it from originally, which I saved, was from Afropunk, of course, because I am a big follower of Afropunk. But this is a story out of Farmington Hills, Michigan?
I don't remember.
What is what's the abbreviation MI?
Michigan.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I think.
This is from Farmington Hills, and it's a story about a middle schooler, a sixth grader to be exact, being dragged from his classroom for refusing to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. The teenagers, the sixth grader's name was Stone Chaney, who, when they did the Pledge of Allegiance, stayed in his seat. And the young man said, the teacher consultant comes up behind me and snatches me out of my chair violently. This is said on the news. I was so confused and I didn't know what was going on. He said so the teacher consultant is the one that pulled him out of his chair, which, first of all, whatever your beliefs are, you do not lay your hands on a child.
Yeah.
You I don't care. You do not do that. And this is the teacher consultant. The teacher then yelled at him for sitting during the pledge. The sixth grader's response was, I don't stand because I don't pledge to a flag. I pledge to God and my family. The kid was then dragged out of the room in front of the other students. Now, the teacher has been put on leave, and it's currently under investigation. As far as I'm concerned, no, the teacher just needs to be fired. Like, your beliefs withstanding, you don't lay hands on a child, especially a child that was just sitting in his chair.
And even more, the federal courts have upheld that students do actually. So, in a lot of cases, students, don't have full rights, like when they're in school. Like, teachers do have control over what students can say and stuff. But the courts have upheld that students maintain their constitutional right to free speech, to opt out of quote unquote required displays of patriotism, right? Like, right. Students have a constitutional right to refuse to say the pledge or to sing the national anthem in a public school.
As we all do. And
yes.
With the current things going on with, of course, Kaepernick and the other football players and other prominent figures in general refusing to stand and stand for the anthem, salute the flag, and all that stuff, and the current NFL boycott, which has cost the NFL millions, though they have not acknowledged the fact that that's happening. It's like this is free speech.
Yes.
This is actual free speech.
This is actual free speech.
Right. Like, the founding fathers put that in the Constitution for instances like this, because during the in the colonial period, you had to pledge loyalty to the crown. Loyalty oaths to the crown, to England, to the king, were commonplace. And they like one of the major reasons free speech clause exists is to allow for to be against things like that, these compulsory displays of patriotism, which is messed up because Americans now think that these things are a given, and that if you don't acknowledge them, you are a criminal. And judging from this incident, we have a teacher, or technically two teachers, because a teacher and a teacher consultant, who obviously have these same beliefs. And their decision was to harm a sixth grader.
Yeah.
So if that should illustrate to you what kind of country we live in now. Or I guess I wouldn't even say we've always lived in it, because these things have only really become so important, quote unquote, in the past 50 or so years, 60 years tops.
Yeah.
Since the end of World War II and the Cold War, and these displays of patriotism arise directly out of Cold War fears and the fear of communism.
Mm-hmm.
Something that, this is not something that we deal with now. I mean, we have our own fears of Russia. You don't have to fear communism like they do back in the old day. We have to fear communism from Russia literally buying the fucking election. But I digress.
You said the thing already.
There should be some fanfare when I say that.
Da-da-da!
But anyway, I've discussed this before. I find these displays of patriotism, as someone who goes on the record as calling himself patriotic. I find compulsory displays of patriotism to be the exact opposite of what American patriotism is supposed to be.
Yeah.
And especially with this child who, I mean, he's right. If the God part, that's his belief structure, and I have no problem with that. But as far as he's concerned, he has no duty to. He doesn't have a duty to the pledge or the flag or even the country. He has a duty to his loved ones, as we all do. And that's what, and for people like Kaepernick and the other people who refuse to stand for the pledge or refuse to salute the flag, including myself, because I've recently stopped standing for the pledge. Or if I do, because there are some instances where I'm already standing and the pledge comes on, I'm not doing the hand over my heart, whatever thing. I got my fist raised in the air the entire time.
Yeah.
Because I personally, and people like Kaepernick and all the other people, we have duties to our loved ones, have duties to ourselves. And when attacks on us, attacks on people like us, attacks on our loved ones are part of the American fabric of society, which it is, and has become when the attacks on black people, attacks on homosexuals, attacks on minorities and women and stuff have become such a part of the fabric of American existence. We don't have to pledge our allegiance to America. We don't have to pledge our allegiance to and show our support of the flag and stuff and all that shit when we have a duty to ourselves, our loved ones, and our people who are being hurt, who are being killed.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what free speech is all about. That's what the American system was set up to do. It was supposed to allow people to defend themselves, defend their rights, defend their humanity against anyone, even against anyone who is trying to take that away. Especially, not including, but especially the American government. Because I don't know if a lot of people understand it, but the founders, their main fear was overreaching government. Their main fear was that the American government would take away the rights and liberties of the American public.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have an American public who takes away the rights of the other of its own people for the American government. And that's insane. So I want to give major props. Oh, and let me say this: the school board for this school and the district, they have come out and said, of course, our students have the right to exercise their free speech as they see fit. These teachers' actions were not okay. So the district did their job in this case. But I want to give special props to this sixth grader. Let me find his name again. Sorry. Stone Chaney. I want to give very, very special props to this kid for standing up in the sixth grade, which you're a kid, you have a lot going on as a kid. But special props for him standing up, or in this case, not standing, but taking a stand for what he believes in, taking a stand for himself and for his family. Because that takes a lot of bravery.
Yes, it does.
So, like I said, I know this kid is not listening to this podcast. And
I hope this kid is not listening to this podcast. Guys, don't let your kids listen to our podcast.
Please don't. Actually, don't, because they're gonna learn way more than they need to at their age.
This is not all ages appropriate.
And I do not want to be responsible for that conversation. But yeah, I want to give, just like I said, very special, very big props to Stone, because, like I said, that takes a lot of bravery, standing up against society in general, and more specifically against your teacher, the person who is in this place of authority over you. And when confronted by the teacher in such a violent way, not backing down. Because the kid was, like I said, physically attacked and yelled at by the teacher and the teacher's consultant, which is like a teacher assistant. Yelled at by these people and told to stand, and he stood his ground. And that is amazing. This kid, a hero. As far as I'm concerned, he's a hero. So Chaney, keep it up. You keep this up, and you're gonna change the world. Also, to the teacher, fuck you. Seriously, for all the teachers who are out here who are doing their job properly, who are teaching to care about the children, not bullshit ass beliefs, who actually care about the children and are doing their job and their best to make a better place and create a better world by informing the next generation. You are those teachers are incredible, and this teacher and this teacher consultant, you're a disgrace. And honestly, you need to be as far away from a classroom as possible. And with that, I am finished.
Are you sure, though?
No, the anger still lives within me. But I think we should move on to our interview portion because Chris is probably waiting.
Yay!
But before we get there, we're going to have a short musical break that I hope you guys enjoy.
This is music from Owl's Head Mountain, which is the latest project from Taylor Ransom, who you may probably not actually also know as the banjo player for the Living Room Leftists, who provided us with our theme music for our podcast. So thank you so much to Taylor for letting us use all of your music in all of our stuff all of the time. You're fantastic. And enjoy this music from Owl's Head Mountain.
Come all you poor workers, good news to you I'll tell, how the good old Union has come in here to dwell. Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
Fascists, what a couple of hillbillies can do.
Which side are you on? 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 Which side are you
Music belongs to everybody. It's like the national park, like the national forest. You all know that? You know, it's a treasury that you already own, and it has nobody's name on it. You don't have to pay for this music, see? So you probably ought to learn how to sing it since it belongs to you, don't you think?
And welcome back, everyone, to our interview section for this week's show. Today we have a very special guest, a fellow podcaster that has been a lot of support to us. He had us on his show a few, I guess, like almost a couple months back at this point. Great guy, just I said, awesome show. We'd like to welcome Chris Watson from the Podunk Polymath Podcast. All those P's right there.
How's it going?
We are doing great. At least I know I am.
Keem just knows that I'm tired all the time. That's all right, though.
That is very true. So, Chris, you want to tell our listeners a little bit about yourself first?
Yeah, I'm Chris Watson. I'm a sexy Southerner, and I do a podcast called the Podunk Polymath Podcast, which is the sentiments of a secular, sarcastic, screwed-up Southern SJW and skeptic. And I do it weekly.
All that alliteration. Good Lord.
I'm intimidated by your alliteration.
It took a while to get it all. 10 episodes for me to really get it down. But now I memorized it.
That's awesome. So tell us a little bit, tell our listeners, of course, a little bit about your show.
It's a social justice centered show. I try to have different topics on about military, sexual assault in the military, domestic violence, I just did one coping with death as a secular person. And then I also have fellow podcasters on from time to time. So that's kind of the mix I have.
It sounds very familiar. So a very, very familiar mix of things.
Yeah.
I don't know where we could have seen a pattern like that before.
Oh.
Great minds think alike, of course.
Of course.
So, Chris, you're based out of Nashville, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yay! Tennessee is great. Well, Tennessee is something. Lots of great people are in Tennessee.
Oh,
I mean, New York is better, but...
of course.
Yeah, I'm kind of jealous of New York.
So, I lost my train of thought.
What? You lost your train of thought?
Esmè, take over while I regain my brain.
Oh. I was going to say, so I haven't had a chance yet to check out your latest episode because I'm a crazy person who works all the time during the week. But I really need to because that hit a nerve with me, like coping with like loss and grief as a secular person. Just because my mom died a couple years ago, and I just wanted to punch everybody in the throat who said things like, oh, she's in a better place now. Oh, these things happen for a reason. I'm like, fuck off, guys. Fuck off. Don't be idiots.
I will have to agree with Esmè on this one because my mom died a few years back too, and I had the exact same issues.
Like,
Yeah, I haven't been through that myself yet. Hopefully won't be for a while, but yeah, we talked about stuff like that too. Even though they might be good intentions, it's still really hard to hear that kind of shit.
yeah.
All right. One of the
Sometimes not so good intentions, but
Yeah.
at least then if I can tell that they're, they mean it, in a nice way and not trying to be assholes about it.
right. One of the things when my mom was like before she even passed, so she was diagnosed with ALS, and if any of the listeners know anything about ALS, in most cases, that's a death sentence. And it's a horrible, painful, slow disease to suffer from and to watch. So one of the things that I come from a religious background, but I had already, become a non-believer by that point. And so once we got the diagnosis of ALS, my immediate family, my sister and I, and my mother, we were just like, okay, we have to, cope with the reality of she's going to die and there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to make sure she's comfortable for these last couple months and just deal with the reality of the situation. Our more religious friends and family would always come in and do the whole, the Lord's going to heal her and make her walk again, and she's going to come out of that hospital bed and all this stuff. And then, which was ridiculous, but which was awful because we knew what was happening. She knew what was happening, and I hated the fact that they were coming in and saying this at this point garbage to my mother, who was coping with the fact that she was this was something you cannot come back from. There's no miracles here. There are no reverses. Once this is going, it's going.
Yeah.
And when she finally did pass, one of those relatives in particular goes, if only she would have just believed that the Lord would have healed her more, she would have got better. And I was just done. At that point, I couldn't say anything. I just walked away, just completely.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. I don't know. If you're in that situation, it's hard enough to say go fuck yourself, I guess. But you got to be kind of at least a little diplomatic, I guess.
Right.
So I don't know. It just depends. Depends on the person, especially if it's somebody that your mom knew or your whoever knew well. And I don't want to necessarily be mean to him or whatever. But if it was some random person just come up to me, I'd be like, hey, do me a favor. Can you go fuck yourself and get out of my face, please?
Exactly. I had to stop myself, especially because this person claimed themselves. They often claim themselves to be a prophet, which is always fun.
Yeah, spell profit F-I-T and you got it right.
Yeah, but for some reason they're always still broke.
Mm-hmm. So you see their cars.
Yeah. Oh, the person has a shit car.
Oh, well, maybe then he's not a very good prophet and he's go fuck off anyway.
Also, what kind of a dickhead goes up to somebody whose mom just died and says, oh, your mom would still be alive if only she had been better? Fuck off, dude. That's not an appropriate thing to say to a person who's grieving.
Yeah, that's a good way to get your ass knocked out.
Yeah.
You don't know who you're talking to when you say shit like that. You may well get somebody who's going to knock you out.
Oh, like Keem.
It took a lot of holding back, and I'm not particularly, as the young people say, sane. So
the young people?
Yeah, the young people.
I thought everybody said that. I didn't think that. But anyway, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, took a lot of self-control.
I understand, like I said.
So, Chris, now, since we got you on here, I am looking at some things you've posted on the your page for the Podunk Polymath, and what I'm gonna do is gonna grab some opinions from you.
Okay, sure.
All right. So we go from the first thing I saw. The town in Tennessee that's looking to ban drag shows.
Portland.
Yeah, I just nuke it from orbit. Is that maybe no? That'd be too much fallout, I guess, brother. Well, I don't know if that'd be a bad thing either. Anyway, no.
No, I like where I live. I don't want to move.
Like, you both live in Tennessee, so nuking from orbit is.
Well, I can move first. I'll get out of the way first. I'll get my mom and shit. Get my family out.
Just warn people, back up. We need you to move out for a second. We got to handle something.
I mean, I was just in California. I'll just go back, I guess. So yeah, I was reading up on it, and the ACLU's gotten involved now.
Good.
Right.
It's clearly unconstitutional because they're trying to do a regulation that says it's basically they're trying to say the area is not zoned for that as an adult entertainment, which is not adult entertainment really. It's just like a burlesque. It's like a drag show, That's not adult entertainment. I mean, if you mean like strip shows and shit, it's just if you've ever been to one of those. It's just people having a good time, dressing up and shit. It's nothing. It's just because the gays are there. We can't have those gays.
But
That's
think
all
of the
it's
children.
Yeah, think of teaching them intolerance.
What?
And hating people. That are different from you. But that's what Jesus said in the Bible. It's right there.
Yeah.
Just it's in the small print, fine print.
Jesus said, "Love everyone except the gays. Fuck those guys. I mean, don't fuck those guys."
Well, if you've ever seen Monty Python's The Life of Brian, they're all listening to the Sermon on the Mount, and they can't hear him, so they keep misinterpreting what he says, and so they keep making up different shit.
Right.
Blessed be the cheesemakers, or the cheesemakers, peacemakers, but you get the idea. Well, I think he's just talking about generally of people making dairy products or something like that. Anyway, people's going to interpret it anyway. They want to interpret it anyway. That's the point.
Right.
Right. Go on my nerd,
What?
I love
You? No.
Banish the thought. But anyway, yeah, that whole thing is just ridiculous. And the mayor said something about we don't think it. No, it wasn't the mayor. It was a resident said it doesn't fit our values or something like that. And I was like, fuck you. And the people who own the actual establishment, because they just let them run the thing, do the show. They're like Vietnamese or something, I think. And they don't even fucking care. Which is always funny to me how these redneck motherfuckers don't like people who aren't white, but they'll eat their food all day long. And go to their stores and shit, but they're gonna still like them. Don't go. There's Mexican restaurants everywhere in this fucking state.
No,
but you want to deport Mexicans? Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
My favorite thing back home was, I hate N-words. Yet all you want to eat is soul food.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
What? No, that fried chicken you eating right there? We did that. Spit it out.
Shit.
But
that whole thing's bullshit.
These ordinances and like stuff like that, it always gets to me because my question first is always, who does this benefit? And no one is always the answer. Like you go, we need to, this doesn't fit our values. We need to ban it. Okay, but who does that benefit? Like who's that benefit?
No,
because
see,
if it doesn't fit your value.
These are the same people though that with a straight face blame hurricanes on gay people.
That's true.
They legitimately think that God will punish all of the United States if they allow this to go unchecked.
Which
Well,
make so I was
True.
saying so Irma and Houston were Irma and not Houston, Harvey. It's all because of the gays, those gay hurricanes.
Yeah, hello. It wasn't
Um,
climate change. That's not real.
Right. Well, see, you would think if it was these hurricanes were God's judgment, they would go for like one of the gay states, like California or New York.
Well,
I mean,
they don't get
not those
hurricanes.
good old southern God fearing Jesus states like Florida and
Oh, that's
Texas.
going to be under. Yeah, Florida's going to be underwater soon anyway. So
Yeah, true.
rising sea levels are just going. It's going to be, yeah, gone. Seafront property is probably going to be Tennessee. We'll be clear near to the ocean.
I wonder how they're going to explain that one off. Like, oh, climate change isn't real.
It's
Except now
Jesus.
the ocean is somewhere around mid Mississippi.
Yeah, and God, please get rid of Mississippi. That would be a blessing.
Oh my God!
I mean,
Yes.
you're out of there, so let Morgan get out of there, I guess. And then
We can build an ark for the that to get out.
yeah, because that worked in the past. Oh yeah, that really happened. Oh yeah.
Exactly. I mean, if a geriatric guy can put all the animals on the planet, 2 of every animal on the planet on a boat, we can get some people out of Mississippi. Shit,
Exactly.
we have the technology. I've seen Evan Almighty.
I forgot about that. Yeah. So what are you going to do?
Good Lord, it's a world we live in here.
well, I mean, yeah. As opposed to not a world.
Well, it's going to be soon enough. The Earth's going to shake us off like fleas.
And it's all going to be the
It'll
fault
be
of the
fine.
gays.
Yeah. Hello. It says in the Bible.
See,
And again in the fine print. It's a annotation, the annotated Bible.
Yes.
speaking of which, so you're in Nashville, and this is going right along to what I talked about a few weeks ago, the Nashville statement.
Oh, goddamn. Don't get me started on that fucking thing. Jesus Christ, that whole thing.
Sounds like we're definitely going to get you started on that.
That's ridiculous. I mean, the only reason they called it that's because the conference was in Nashville.
Yeah.
And it's just a bunch of fucking usual evangelical, homophobic, misogynistic, patriarchal bullshit, basically. That's all it is. It's the same old, same old. It's just they put Nashville in it, and they weren't trying to have all that, which I wasn't surprised. I was pretty proud of that, actually. There was a counter petition going around. That's not our Nashville or something like that. And even the mayor said something about it. So there's a pretty good backlash against it.
I was very surprised when I even saw the name of it, because I lived in Nashville for like almost 2 years, and Nashville is, at least I consider it, one of those more liberal cities in the South, kind of like Austin, Texas, and Atlanta-ish. Like it's generally bigger and less conservative. So it was very strange when I saw, like, when people were talking about it at the Nashville stand, I was like, that doesn't particularly make sense with the area, because I've been to more than enough gay clubs in Nashville.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus is going to destroy Nashville anyway, so that doesn't really matter.
I think the traffic in Nashville is going to destroy Nashville.
Well, yeah, it's not that bad compared to like Atlanta.
I mean, nothing is that bad compared to Atlanta, so I hear.
We are just we're shitting on everybody today, by the way.
It's been that kind of a week. Don't stand in front of me. You're going to get hit. I'll get on everybody today. I'm ready to fuck somebody up today.
Watch out.
When the pacifist is talking about fucking somebody up.
I know, right?
I'm trying to think.
Good luck.
Yeah.
That's fun.
The current events have fried my brain so badly that it's just ridiculous.
Oh, trust me, I know.
I don't know what to get into first.
It's overwhelming, that's for sure.
It really is. It's hard to navigate. Just so much random shit going on.
Well, did you see the thing I posted, which has been getting some pretty play, with somebody posing with Tommy Lahren or whatever?
Oh.
Yeah, I did that.
That post has been getting a lot of love. I don't usually get that many hits on a post, but apparently people like that one. It's the one where the dude poses with her and he can like, how does it feel to be an embraced piece of shit? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And she just like looks at him. It's awesome. Yeah, a lot of people thought that was fun.
So, I did want to ask, and I want to bring this up. So, what's going on with this Berkeley? I think it's Berkeley. The like free speech thing. Have you heard about this?
Which one? I mean, there's several instances.
Like apparently they're hosting like some like it's like some big I'm gonna look it up because I just heard about it. It's like some big quote unquote free speech thing, and it's all completely alt-right people.
I mean, surprise. That's what free speech means now, don't you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except when it doesn't. Was this recent?
Yeah, this was. I saw this today.
I saw it yesterday.
Are you talking about the convention?
That may be it.
The Mythicist Milwaukee convention or whatever? Because that's a big thing going on right now. There's a lot of hullabaloo going on about that.
No, this is a different thing. It is actually at Berkeley.
Yeah,
Berkeley,
because they're preparing for they're preparing for all hell to break loose because of it.
Yeah, that happened before when Milo came to speak.
Yeah,
I believe.
But this is supposed to be a whole bunch of right wing crazies, basically.
Well, that doesn't sound good. We see what happened last time. Black Bloc showed up. Antifa people showed up.
yeah.
Oh yeah, people have already showed up. Like there are already massive protests.
That didn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I mean, there should be.
This is week after next. They announced the news is that they announced the lineup of speakers for this free speech event that was going on.
And it's rough.
Yeah. Like
I'll have to look because I hadn't heard that.
Looking at it now, Milo is speaking 3 times.
God damn. What?
Yeah.
Can someone look? All right. I will go to church and start believing in God.
Now, don't make promises you can't keep.
No, very specific. Very specific. If a lightning bolt comes down and reduces that god ash in front of everyone, just boom.
Did you hear that Irma ripped the roof off his house?
Yeah.
Who?
They
Osu?
got Milo.
Milo.
Oh, that's right, Milo. That's right. Yeah,
Milo's house got ripped to shit.
good motherfucker.
But it amuses it not amuses me, but it's crazy that the term free speech has, first of all, become a substitute for hate speech, because like, anytime it's used, it's when somebody is spewing hate speech, spewing some bullshit, and it's like, but we got to protect their free speech. And then you have the broadcaster for ESPN pointing out something that's pretty fucking obvious and losing her job over it.
Did she lose her job? Or
I
think she apologized. I think she just got put in leave. I don't know if she got fired.
No. So sorry, not losing her job. They threatened to make her lose her job if she did not. But she apologized, and then after the apology, went back and said, "No."
Well, it was going to be bullshit apology anyway. Come on,
Right.
you're just going to go say something like that.
It's like Kathy Griffin all over again. It's like she made a statement, made a very bold statement, and all the backlash forced her to apologize, and then she came back and was like, "No, fuck you, I'm not apologizing."
Fuck that. It's performance art. I mean, she may have done it because she's not that popular. Maybe she was stirring shit just to get some, I don't know. Who gives a shit? I don't hate on her for that. But, yeah, fuck them. I don't fucking... When you're basically the head of a nationwide white supremacist, backlash or whatever, because we had a black president and now we got to go way back in the other direction. Man, fuck you.
Exactly.
Just fuck you. I don't give a fuck. Hang him in effigy, okay?
It's so insane that all right, through all of Obama's years, they were hanging this man in effigy, posting pictures. They were putting his face up to a monkey's face, burning dolls made of him, all this shit, and no one said a thing. They just let him go.
It was free speech, don't you know?
Exactly. It was quote unquote free speech. But now anytime somebody does anything, and I mean anything, to criticize Trump in the slightest, it's an immediate takedown.
Oh yeah.
And
we
even extending past. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, and we have to appease the white people, because they're they're so downtrodden, fucking assholes.
Exactly. It's like it's 2017, and people are getting admonished for saying Nazis are evil. Fucking Nazis.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all out of control.
It's like somebody pressed the fuck it button in the U.S.
That'd be a good name for the name. So press the fuck it button. That wouldn't pass muster without it. So.
Good Lord.
Yeah, I see what you're. I mean, it's just out of control.
Right. That's and that even reminds me. So Chris, I know Esmè doesn't know who this person is. Well, she's heard of him peripherally. The big issue with the YouTuber PewDiePie.
Oh, Lord. What did he do now?
So PewDiePie, biggest YouTube star in the world. Him playing game, and I don't like PewDiePie. I've never liked PewDiePie, but I am a fan of Let's Plays. I like people playing games and like basically doing like improvise comedy over it. It's funny. Sometimes, some people. But PewDiePie, biggest YouTuber in the world, people like a millionaire from people watching his gameplays on YouTube. In a stream of the game PUBG.
Oh, I remember. Go ahead. I remember this. Yeah.
Straight up, and I'm gonna say it. I'm not gonna say N-word. Straight up, call somebody a nigger.
Yep. Yeah, I heard that.
And then he tries to save it like, they got such an asshole, like trying to. It's like, oh man, asshole. First of all, nigger and asshole are not substitutes for one another.
Yeah, they're not synonymous.
Like, yeah. I think you got some shit crossed up in you, and so with that, some game publishers of games he played were just like, nah, you're not going to make any more money off our games because.
Okay.
And this is not his first time. This is not his first like white supremacist offense. Earlier this year, he did a thing, well, supposedly a joke, but was like trying to get people to deny the Holocaust happened.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And say like Heil Hitler and all this shit. Yeah. But so the video game developers were like, no, you're not gonna get any money off our games. We're not gonna let you associate our work with what you're doing. And one guy in particular was very like candid, not even like this is a professional decision. He's like, this is a very personal. He's like, this guy is a racist child who keeps getting off, and people keep defending him for doing this stuff, and I'm sick and tired of it.
Oh yeah, totally.
And of course, with that slip, as they say, came the defenses of him.
Oh, you already know.
Of course, you had your regular crowd of. He's just saying the truth, even though yelling the N-word is apparently the just truth now. It doesn't. I don't get what you're saying there. Of course, and they were also like, "Oh, this is another attack on white people," and their claim of white genocide.
Mike, just please no.
But
no.
Because not saying the N-word is going to lead to your extinction. And if that is the case, your existence is very, very fragile, and you probably should go extinct if that's all it takes.
Yeah, poor white people. They've had it so hard.
I like to envision that when racist white people can't say the N-word, like the longer they hold it, they like start to steam and smoke.
Like a robot or something.
Right,
or
yeah.
Cartoon things where steam spouts out their ears and shit.
Yeah. Then after a while, they just like combust. Just like, I didn't say it.
Yes, like literally actually
They
combust.
say thugs.
Ugh. Oh my god, I almost punched a woman in the throat. Ugh. I was talking to her about my school. I moved schools, and she made a comment about how at least I'll be away from the thugs at my old school. And I'm like, bitch, I'm gonna punch you in the throat. Do not say that shit about my students. I love those kids.
Yeah, did you mean to say nigger? Is that what you meant to say? Go ahead and say it, Be real about it. And say that too, because if you say N-word, it doesn't have the same impact. That's just my opinion. But if it's a situation like that, I think it's appropriate. That's just me.
Yeah. Oh,
Right.
Keem, do you remember the story of the wedding that I went to
Hmm.
last summer?
Yes, I do.
My brother's wedding. And while I was there, I ran into a woman who had been an old high school teacher of mine. And she asked what I was doing. I told her I was teaching in a public school in Memphis. And she says, "Oh, aren't you afraid?" And so then I spent the next 15 minutes stringing her along, trying to make her ask me the question that she was actually asking me instead of coding it. It was hilarious and really amusing.
It's easy to do, though.
It was so much fun.
It really is.
It was so much fun.
That's I don't know if I've ever told this story. This is this has apparently become random story time after the fuck it button has been hit.
Yeah.
I was in my family and I were in Dollar General, and we were doing some shopping or whatever, and I had picked up some medicine, I think, and we were getting ready to check out, and I found some cheaper medicine. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get this instead. So I put the other medicine back and went and bought the cheaper medicine. And so I'm taking the bags out to the car, and while I'm doing that, the cashier, who's a white lady, stops my sister, who's paying for everything, and she's like, I'm gonna need him to bring back what he just stole." My sister's like, excuse me? He's like, I saw him go. I saw him take that medicine bottle and stick it in the car. It's like, and my sister just goes, "We just bought some medicine. No, not that medicine. The other bottle." And at this point, I'm back in the store, and I'm just like, no, I didn't. I put that bottle back. No, you didn't. I saw you steal it. I saw you steal it. That's what you do.
Yep.
And I was like, I didn't do anything crazy yet. I went back to the medicine aisle, picked up the medicine I put back, and I went, "You mean this bottle?" And you just went and got another bottle off the aisle. I saw you. We got camera footage. Get the camera. We said, "We'll get the camera. Just get it. We'll look at the footage. You'll see me put it back." And she goes, No, we're not going to get that. And then we called the police.
Jesus Christ.
We're just like, if you're going to accuse us of shoplifting, we're going to call the police. We're going to get this settled out. If you want it so bad. So the police get there, and we're like, okay, we want y'all to get the tape so we can prove to this woman that we're stealing things. And she's like, no. We just don't want his kind in here. We just don't want that kind of people in here. We don't have to check the tapes. We don't want your kind in here. And I go, my kind? What do you mean my kind? She goes, we just don't want you in here. You're banned from the store. We don't want your kind in here. I said, you keep saying that word, my kind. Is there a word that you're looking for? Say it.
Exactly.
Say it. I at this point, and there's a line of customers behind us. The police are there, and I'm just like, say it. Say nigga. Right there on the tip of your tongue. Say it. And she's like, no, just leave. No, it's like, no. And the officers are horrified. The customers behind us are just they're either horrified or slightly amused. And I'm going, just say it. I know you want to say it. And I'm even turning back to other customers like, you see this? Y'all see this, right? She wants it. Just go ahead and say it so we can leave. The police finally just go, y'all just go home. and we leave. Fortunately enough, that woman got fired soon after.
Jesus.
But it's so insane how man, racism is something else.
Yeah.
Racism is something else, and it's. I don't remember racism being this stringently defended since the 1950s.
Well, who took us back? Trump's getting elected.
He said he was gonna make America great again. Shit, he literally meant I'm gonna take us back to the 1950s. Fuck. I can't do this separate but equal shit. That don't work. I've dated too many white women.
Yeah, that holds up.
They're just gonna kill my black ass. I'm too pretty to be shot and shit like that now.
Poor Keem, you're doomed.
Oh, sorry. I am. But see, the thing is, I know you two will be right there beside me. Also starting shit.
Yeah. That holds up.
So, Chris, you said you recently went to California.
Yeah.
How was your trip out there?
Up there, met up with some people I met on Facebook. Got to see all the sites. Went in and out for 4 times, I think. The burger joint, you know.
I hear In-N-Out is the way to go for burgers. At least that's what all my friends from California say. And apparently it's good. Because somebody went there 4 times.
It's good shit.
I've heard good things about In-N-Out Burger. Like, it's In-N-Out only in California?
They're expanding, I think. They're a regional chain, but I think they've expanded now into Oregon and Washington.
God damn. So California adjacent.
Yeah.
No one really thinks of Washington and Oregon.
I do.
Yeah, that's because you went to school there.
That's true.
You know, Oregon used to be like no blacks were allowed.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
That's why you didn't see any little brown figures in the Oregon Trail game.
Yep. Which is, I mean, I'm sure a lot of places did that anyway, but it wasn't official.
Right.
Pretty bold.
Which brings up a issue that I always have, especially with people I know, and I know you guys probably experience it to a degree as well. People going, we should just forget about all that stuff. It happened in the past.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't see why Black Lives Matter is. I don't see why they're so angry. That they're angry about racism. That's all that stuff is in the past. That we don't have that now, bruh.
Yeah,
we got
a black president, so it means it's over.
Right. Like there was a little black boy that there was a little black kid that some other white kids attempted to lynch him.
Yeah, I saw that. That's crazy.
But no, it's all this stuff is in the past.
Yeah.
And by past I meant like last week.
Yep. It happens with feminism too.
Right. It happens for anything that isn't part of the status quo.
Yep.
So basically, if it doesn't make you a proud American, then it needs to be forgotten.
Oh yeah.
And, which is weird because these people say people going basically everything that doesn't make you a proud American, that acknowledges America's really shitty past and present, should be forgotten, are the same people who are fighting to keep Confederate monuments up.
Oh
Right.
Lord, I'm gonna start.
Which, my God.
Oh, we have good news about that. Have you guys been following the shit that's been happening in Memphis about the Confederate monuments?
No.
Not lately.
So the city of Memphis has officially committed to removal of the Confederate monuments in the city, the Jefferson Davis and the other one, Nathan Bedford Forrest. They've officially committed to removing those in the next 3 years, even if the Tennessee Historical Commission does not grant permission to do so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, right?
I was going to say the THC has. I thought they had the. Well, they did that on purpose. They changed the law.
Yeah.
Where the Historical Commission has to approve it, which of course is they just don't want it. It's bullshit.
Yeah, but the city has taken the time to go through the Tennessee Historical Commission officially, but then if the THC says no, they're going to do it anyway.
What can they do?
They can take them down and then deal with the consequences from the Historical Commission.
Which is what?
Yeah, what are the consequences? Memphis is one of the biggest cities in the state, so what the fuck are they going to...
A sternly word
fines, probably.
Barrel.
And who's going to enforce these fines?
I don't know.
What? What's the question?
Oh, who was going to enforce the fines? I don't know.
Yeah. Just like the Memphis is we got to pay fines. Okay, come get it.
I mean, that's what they're doing to the fucking school district right now. Jesus Christ. Sorry.
Yeah, why don't we all the money we send to the state? Because you know how much money Memphis sends to the state in taxes and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we lost it in the mail. You know, we don't know where that money is.
Yeah.
You know.
Jesus.
What are they gonna do? You know, I mean, they've got Memphis and Nashville are half the fucking population of the state between them. So I mean, what are they gonna do?
I do have to say something about Nashville. Nashville celebrates the hell out of a particular person that really shouldn't be celebrated at all. AJ. And for people who don't know this, Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson was a giant genocidal asshole.
Oh yeah.
And man, Nashville loves the fuck. I specifically, I lived in Hermitage, and people on Hermitage. Yeah. So, for people who don't know, Andrew Jackson's home was the Hermitage, and I lived in the city that's named after it. So,
suburb, I guess.
Yeah. And my God, I'm honestly surprised that white supremacists have not taken Andrew Jackson as a symbol.
I don't know if they haven't necessarily.
Well, more
not specifically.
symbol.
Yeah.
because man, you can't get more like radical right than Andrew Jackson. Like I always tell people, Andrew Jackson is both, like as a historian, is my favorite president to study because he was literally a psychopath who just went, you know what? Fuck it, I'm doing this on the most awful things. Like the guy hated banks. He's like, fuck banks. I'm gonna just take away all the banks.
What?
Like I hate Native Americans. Sorry, he would have said, I hate Indians.
Engines. Those engines.
Let's round them up and move them away. If they die, they die. Bruh.
It was all the way to fucking Oklahoma, I think it was.
Right. Thousands of people died. And he's just like, fuck it. Even historically, the Battle of New Orleans that basically won him the presidency, the hero of New Orleans, that was a battle after the war was over.
Yep. Yep.
It at no point. It was just, and he's just like, yeah, I'm a hero. You didn't do shit, Andy.
Andy the asshole.
God damn. I am so surprised there aren't more Andrew Jackson like pictures and stuff at these alt-right rallies.
Well, you done fucked up and gave him an idea now, so good job.
Well, if they, I'm about to copyright this shit, and if I start seeing that shit, I'm gonna royalty.
We can get you buy the website domain or something. So.
Yeah. I need to go register their website. AltRightAndrewJackson.com.
I don't know. I have to think about it. Yeah, there you go.
You have to pay.
Well, what you do is you put it like the front page is like some kind of alt-right masturbatory thing, but when you click on any links, it goes to like I don't know, ACLU or Black Lives Matter site or something.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
Just trapped him in there. It'd be funny.
Brilliant. Trolling the trolls.
Nah,
Exactly.
trolling the
Meta.
trolls is a great idea until you get doxxed.
Yeah, there's that.
I've seen. I can't wait to the day, and it's going to happen to all of us. Like, mark my words, it's going to happen to all of us that's on this show right now. We are going to get in Facebook jail. We are going to get in Facebook jail.
I have already.
There we go. I'm
But
waiting
it
for my
wasn't
turn.
for
We're going
that.
to get. Oh Lord!
It was because of a semi-nude picture or something. But it wasn't. I blacked out the parts with the little emoji stickers. But I guess
I try to put all my nude pictures and semi-nude pictures in another group that doesn't get reported.
Damn
I think it's all over the
exhibitionists.
I was feeling rebellious, I guess. Yeah, that's it.
But
I've got a lot of dick pics floating around. That's all I'm gonna say. Consensually.
I was gonna say there aren't any dick pics of me on the internet, but that's not true.
Yes, there.
There's one.
Yes, there are.
There's one.
Oh, wow. My interest is piqued.
It's on my FetLife page.
Oh. Is that a thing?
Oh yeah, that's a
guess it is.
thing. Hell yeah, FetLife is a thing.
Oh, I don't know. I'm like super vanilla, so I don't really know much. I mean, I know it exists. I haven't explored it.
I will say you should check out FetLife for exploratory purposes.
Well, now I am. You think got me interested, so I'm gonna look.
I am moderately vanilla myself, and I guess this is building up to the sex segment. I am moderately vanilla myself, except for a few things. And I got on there. I got on there just to explore, and I was like, some pretty interesting stuff on here. People are into some shit, and that's okay.
Yeah, I was like, don't kink shame.
All right, exactly. That's my new phrase is, that's some shit, but it's okay.
Hashtag that's some shit.
Oh, but yes, FetLife is a great site for people wanting to explore, and maybe you're into seeing some people with non-male parts wear their male parts, wear fake male parts, or
I object to your terminology, sir.
I don't know the proper because I am particularly well versed in this.
I should school you. I should school you a little bit.
Please do. That's what this is for. You schooling me because we play the role of I'm the person who doesn't know shit, and you're the expert.
See, also most of our relationships.
See, see also most of my relationships with anyone.
Actually, that's not true. We school each other on stuff. We just have like complementary sets of knowledge.
Yeah, but all my shit is like nerdy shit.
I mean, yeah.
Like, man, you can tell me the proper strap on, but I could tell you the secret identity of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, I can't do that.
What is this?
Norin Rad, by the way.
That's right.
Sorry.
Galactus, transformed him or whatever to be one of his heralds.
Oh,
We're basically speaking Greek.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
She's tapping out. Galactus is a giant purple man in a skirt who eats planets.
Oh, hold up, player. No, whoa. That ain't a skirt. That's a power. That's a power. A power. I don't know. Dress. I don't know. I was trying to be clever, but I can't think of it.
It's a power tunic.
There you go, tunic. Yeah.
Tunic.
Tunic of power.
Speaking of which, since nerdy shit and intersectional stuff is what we do here, I introduced Esmè to a character this morning that Chris, I don't know if you've heard about, but you might be interested in looking them up. It's a Marvel character named Sarah, and it's Sera, and Sarah is an angel.
Okay.
Sarah is also a trans woman of color who, in a lesbian marriage,
God, how many of they could
to Thor's sister.
Woo.
Thor has a sister.
Thor has a sister. Thor has a sister who was Asgardian, but got raised by angels.
Okay. Well, I guess if you're making shit up, you might have to make up something cool.
Exactly. But Marvel decided to hit all the points for.
I was gonna say, dude, trans, black, lesbian. What's left? I mean, I think that you pretty much hit all the, your privilege levels like way down on that one.
Disabled.
I was going to say that was my next go-to right there.
That's the big one that I'm focused on now.
She did get her wings cut off, if that counts.
Actually.
That's the same before an angel.
Sure.
I gotta give credit to Marvel. Marvel has been all about like trying to get as much like representation as possible, and like that's been a major complaint that traditional quote unquote comic book fans have had against them. They say, "Oh, there's too much diversity. We just want our own
God.
We just
It's
want our
all
comic
good.
book characters straight and white and male.
Yeah, that's what it boils
Right.
down to. Yeah.
And Marvel wants their audience to be diverse because they want money. Like
Well, yeah.
they want like all sorts of people. They want a complete audience, not just one. And nerd culture has for years have been a very focused white male audience. But now, since nerd culture has become pop culture, their audience has expanded, and Marvel and DC, like the major comic companies, are beginning not beginning, but they now view minorities and women as viable markets, and they want those markets, so they are giving the diversity that their media has not really had, which, as much of a capitalistic reason for diversity as it is, I applaud it because I'm getting more characters that have different experiences. Yeah, you're getting different characters, different experiences, better stories because you have stories that haven't been told 100 times over, and you have representation.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, I never thought I would see a black trans woman of color character or a young female Muslim superhero, prominent superhero.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a black Latinx Spider-Man out there.
Woo.
So I mean, like, this is an awesome time for people who are not white males.
As long as you read Marvel comics.
No, DC is actually getting pretty good too. DC has.
Oh, that's right. That one that you showed me that I should do cosplay as was the DC, wasn't it?
Yes.
Who was that? I forget what
That was Super. I think that was Superwoman, actually.
No, I don't think so.
But I don't remember. But DC has been doing more things, though not to Marvel's extent. DC has been pushing the feminist market more, which is awesome. Having more female-led books, pushing characters like Wonder Woman and not the movie Harley Quinn. Get that out there. But the comic character Harley Quinn, who, for the readers, people that have read it know, like, she went from an abusive, psychotic relationship to a, like, very strong, very independent character. DC's been really pushing, like, strong female-led narratives, which is good. They aren't doing great on, like, diversity with particularly other minorities.
Yeah.
They still have a big token black character problem that they don't know how to deal with. But They're trying. I give them that. I mean, fuck, they're trying to make a Cyborg movie, and no one asked for that.
That's funny.
But yeah, so that was my little comic and diversity spiel.
What? You have a spiel about that? I would never have guessed.
Which for listeners, if you'd like that, I'm still working on trying to do a spin-off nerd podcast. So yeah.
So tell Keem that you want to hear him ramble more about nerdy pop culture.
Please do. I will also do shitty movie reviews if you like.
And he will take any excuse to rant about this shit. Believe me.
Yes, I will take any excuse to rant about nerdy shit. And I will take any excuse to go see really shitty movies.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I've seen all 5 Sharknadoes.
Oh my god. That should be illegal.
It's painful. I also seen the Christian Mingle movie.
Jesus
Oh my god. What is wrong with you?
Which that movie actually gave me a physical migraine.
Physical, okay.
He hates himself. That's the problem.
Yeah, I do. You know, some people drink, other people do drugs. I watch movies that hurt me.
Apparently. Maybe that's a kink, I don't know.
Probably. It is now. According to the laws of the internet, you have thought of it and spoken it out loud, so now it exists.
I watch bad movies for pain and sexual pleasure.
Yes.
I just realized this episode of this podcast can never be released. This episode will be a lost episode. It's never getting released. Nope.
Says who? You're not in charge of that.
No, damn it, I'm not. I'm not the editor.
That is true. You put me in charge of that.
Good Lord. I think it's time for us to move into the sex segment.
Probably, you're
Chris,
right.
Is there anything you'd like to add or like to plug?
Just my show, Podunk Polymath, at thepodunkpolymath.com, on Twitter at Podunk Polymath, Facebook / the Podunk Polymath. You seen the pattern here? Email podunk.polymath@gmail.com. That's pretty much all of it.
It's a great show. It's actually also in Google Play.
Because Chris is on top of his shit, unlike me.
And we are not. We will be on Google Play and iTunes and stuff soon.
We've been saying that for like 3 months. I've been saying that for like 3 months.
I didn't. I'm gonna have some free time soon. If Esme tells me how to do it, I'll try to just do it.
Well, I think I'm most of the way done.
Jump into it.
Say what?
Just jump into it, basically. As far as editing goes, you just gotta basically sink or swim, basically.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
But thank you, Chris. You guys go check out the Podunk Polymath Podcast. It's a great show. We've been on it. Go find our episode because I'm an egotist and I want y'all to hear me on another show. And, go show Chris some love.
I'm all about some love. Trust me.
And with that, we are going to move into the sex segment. But first, we will have, as always, another short musical interlude.
Hey y'all, and welcome back for the sex segment. Today we're going back to basics a little bit. Hey Keem,
Yes.
what do you know about the clitoris?
It's. I mean, I know the basic anatomical facts of it, and I know where it's located.
That's good. I will vouch. Yes, you do.
Yes.
So I am going to keep this pretty short because probably most of the people listening to this are aware of the anatomical facts of the clitoris, which is, the clitoris is part of the vulva, sits up just underneath the mons, above the vaginal opening if you're looking at a person who is laying on their back. But what some people don't realize is that the part that you can see is just it's just a little tiny part of the actual structure of the clitoris. The majority of that organ is actually internal. Did you know that? I'm sure that you did.
I did not know that.
Really?
Actually.
You did not know that? Ooh,
I mean,
boy.
I knew some of it was internal, but I didn't realize it was so much internal.
Yes, the vast majority of the structure of the clitoris is actually internal. It does have, so the clitoris is analogous to the penis, right? It has the same basic parts. It has caverns that fill with blood and swell to increase sensitivity. It swells and increases in size. That's why if you look at an unstimulated vulva, it looks one way, but then if you stimulate that same vulva, it starts to look puffier, right? Because the internal structures are filling with blood and swelling and creating, and it's filling up, right? It starts to swell a little bit. It looks kind of puffy.
Right.
But yeah, so the part of the clitoris that you see, it's on the outside, it's covered by a hood, that's analogous to the foreskin of a penis, is,
like a coat.
huh?
No, don't. Just keep going.
Okay. It's called the glands of the clitoris. Surprise, because analogous body parts are awesome. They have the same names for things. But then if you look at a diagram of the structure of the clitoris, that part, it almost kind of looks like a penguin. It's weird, right? Where it has like this little, that's the glands that comes out of the body, or that is outside the body, is like curves over like a little head. And then it has wings. If you look at it, the structure of the clitoris actually has wings that come down.
Wow.
Yeah, that come down. They lie almost underneath the outer labia and come down all the way down around the opening of the vagina.
I never thought I would hear in my life a comparison between a clitoris and a penguin.
And a penguin. It looks kind of like a penguin, right? It has a little head and little like flat bladey wings that come down on either side. It looks like a freaking penguin. It's so cute.
You just made the movie Happy Feet really awkward for me from now on.
I'm sorry. Now it's going to make you think about my clitoris. You're welcome.
Happy clits.
Yes.
So, oh my God. Okay, keep going. Stop. Okay, let's just keep going.
And so that's basically like what I wanted to convey with this segment. So now that you realize that actually the vast majority of the structure of the clitoris is internal, now that opens you, and that it extends all the way down on either side of the vaginal opening, that opens you up to be able to stimulate the clit in all sorts of different ways, right? It's not just like you put your tongue or your finger on it and flick rapidly for a while and that works, right? Which it does work for a lot of people, but it also doesn't work for a lot of people. A lot of people find that way too much stimulation, especially directly on the head of the clit, especially if you pull the hood back. That's a lot of a lot of very intense direct stimulation, right? So, and it's a lot it's a whole lot of stimulation, especially if that's what you start with, right? But if you enjoy that kind of stimulation, if a person enjoys that kind of stimulation after they're warmed up, a good way to get warmed up is to stimulate the clit less directly, right? You can hit on top of the, like up at the where the top of the glands joins the body, on like over the hood. You can massage there. It's a lot of less direct stimulation up by where the mons is. Or Reed Mihalko, who is one of my favorite sex educators. He's pretty great. Does what he calls the Vulcan, where he splits his fingers in the hand sign, right? The Vulcan hand sign, and places
live long and prosper.
Yes, and places his fingers on either side of like the vulva, in between the inner and outer labia, and then like presses down, and like you can like gently like rub, get some lube going. You can gently rub, you can just press, you can wiggle your fingers, you can do all sorts of things, but that's then allowing him to stimulate the they're called the crura of the clitoris on both sides of the vaginal opening. And you can do that from the bottom to where the V of your fingers is down by the vaginal opening, or you can do it from the top to where the glands of the clitoris is like sitting in between the V of your fingers, and you can kind of press down on that. And it's very interesting, all the different ways that you can do this. And it's just a good way to stimulate more of this really, really sensitive organ that people don't realize is there, right? It's just a thing.
I feel like I need visual references, because I was trying to think of the technique you were just explaining, and I was trying to get in my head.
I'm gonna link in the episode notes this week. I'm gonna link Reed Mihalko, actually. So he's a sex educator, and he does a video series, and so he has a video of him explaining this technique and like demonstrating how to do it. So I'm going to include that in the episode notes so that you can see how this technique works. I will vouch, though. I have done it to myself. I have had people do it to me, and it is freaking awesome. If you enjoy, if you have a vulva and enjoy the kind of stimulation that you get from like non-direct stimulation, if you want to experiment with that, like less direct stimulation, it can be really, really great. So I'm going to include that in the episode notes.
You know, when church people go to have a sermon, like go listen to a sermon, and they go, I think the preacher was speaking directly to me. This is one of those instances.
I mean, only because we've had sex. Like,
it's some very pertinent information for some people on this show right now.
Yeah, this is getting real personal. Take notes, guys.
Yeah. Write it down. I got my phone out, writing shit down. Yeah. And that's not. I'm not even exaggerating. I have my phone out, literally typing stuff.
Note to self: do this thing next time. But yeah, no. So this is a thing that I have known for a long time that the majority of the structure of the clitoris was internal, but it wasn't until the last couple of years that I have started to actually put that knowledge into, like, explicitly put that knowledge into use in my own sex life, like both with other people and by myself. And it has largely changed like how I touch myself, right? Whereas I thought that for a really, really long time, I only ever thought to do this one really specific thing, which is direct stimulation of the clit. I obviously knew that like there's different parts of the glands of my clit that react to the same kind of stimulation differently, but I had never thought to experiment with different ways of stimulating the different parts of that organ, right? It just was never a thing that had occurred to me until I started reading more sex blogs and reading, like looking up more sex educators and hearing them talk about the different ways that you can stimulate this. And started like actually amassing a serious collection of toys, which now I have dropped a whole lot of money into. But I have an extremely large variety of toys, many of which hit this organ differently depending on where I apply them. I've talked before about my tango, which I love so much, and it's great to apply to the glands of my clit. But also, one thing I like to do is to stick it in between my inner and outer labia on one side, and it hits that internal structure too. And it helps because the vibrations on that are really rumbly, so they penetrate deeper into the tissue. It goes deeper in, and it doesn't just stay on the surface. And so it actually is stimulating that, which is something that I would never have thought to do before I read about this internal structure and how to stimulate it. So yeah, here's your anatomy lesson for the day. That's
super good information to know. Like seriously.
Right?
Yeah, it's like shit.
And see here, I thought that you knew all this already.
It's not very often that I learn something so enlightening that could drastically affect my performance in that area.
Yeah,
because
and
as someone who often gets face to face with the clitoris, you want to know as much about the structure that you can to make good decisions.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was very informative for my own purposes.
That's why we do the sex segment. And also, I mean, here's your caveat, of course, which is that everybody is different. Every person with a vulva likes different kinds of stimulation. No two people like exactly the same thing. Right. And so, like, check in with your partner. Like, as you're just getting started, try this move or that move or the Vulcan move or the whatever move, and say, like, and check in and just say, like, how's that feel? Right? And they can, and offer them the opportunity to say, like, move more or move less or use more pressure or less pressure or what have you. Or really, I would like some direct, like, stimulation on the head of my clitoris. Thank you very much. Right? Everybody likes different stuff.
Right.
But this opens it up because, like, I have found, especially in the last couple of years, my body's reaction to stimulation has changed a lot to where, like, direct stimulation on the head of my clit was what worked for me for a really long time. And now it's way, way too much to the point where I almost never do anything directly on the head of my clit ever, even by myself, like almost never. And so, like, having experimented with these other ways of these other means of stimulation has been really, really important for me. And my body's response to sexual touch has gotten better because of the way, like, because of being open to it. Like, for a long time, it was just not, I didn't touch myself or anything for a long time because I didn't know these other ways. And then I started really applying this knowledge and found this satisfaction again. It's really awesome. So knowing different ways to stimulate a body can be absolutely essential in having a, like, satisfying sexual relationship with your own body. It's a thing.
I think it's obviously it's very important to have knowledge of all these different things, just for yourself and your partner, knowing what gets you going the right way.
Yeah.
I know, and that was probably the most generic sounding reply to what you said just then, but it's true.
Yeah, it is. Right. And that goes into also like the number one thing that every person can do that will improve their sex life with other people is to be able to tell your partner what it is that you like what you want done, right? Otherwise you have a lot of really boring, not super satisfying sex if you don't know how to communicate to your partner how you want to be touched. And the first step to being able to communicate that information is to know that information, right? You have to know that this kind of stimulation doesn't work, but this kind really, really does, and be able to communicate that to, like, you have to know that works in order to communicate it to your partner, right? Now I can say, for a long time, like when I noticed that the head of my clit was getting way more sensitive, I would say, no, don't do that when a partner would try to touch it. And that got really, like every partner that I ever said that to, like, respected that, but it's really weird and kind of awkward and uncomfortable for me to say, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, no, don't do that, but not be able to say what you should do instead, right? Otherwise, you're just kind of like hunting in the dark going, okay, but what do I do? Because I've exhausted all of the things that I know how to do, and you have said no to all of them, so what do you want me to do? But now I can say, hey, that's too much, but do this instead, and it opens a lot more doors, and it leads to a lot more really positive experiences. Because I know what my body wants. And I know how to communicate with them, what my body wants. I know how to say, do this way. Okay, that's not quite right. Okay, let me move your hand into the right place. No, just like that. Do that. And it feels a little uncomfortable to be that assertive sometimes as a person who is socialized as female. It feels like assertiveness doesn't always come naturally to me. I'm getting a lot better at it, but it definitely pays off to be able to be assertive like that and say, do this way, please, thank you, and then they do it, and then it's amazing. And then they make me make that, and then they make me make that noise, and then they say that was really hot, and I'm like, I know, right?
And for someone like me who derives a lot of pleasure from that noise,
yeah, right?
Because it strokes my ego.
Exactly. Everybody wants to feel that they're good in bed, so set them up for success.
Right. Set us up for. Well, is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think that I'm done there. But yes, check out the notes. I'll have links to information about the internal structure of the clitoris. I'll have links to that video from Reed Mahalko talking about how exactly to do his Vulcan technique, because it's great. But yeah, check it out.
And using the Vulcan technique, you can boldly go where no man has gone before. Okay, no one laughed at my Star Trek joke, but okay. I guess with that lame joke, we're going to end the show. As always, there will be links to news, links to the Podunk Polymath Podcast, links to all the information Esmè has given us today on the clitoris.
Yay!
And all the information you need. Very special thanks to Chris Watson of the Podunk Polymath Podcast. Thanks for a great interview. Thanks for coming to be with us. I don't think we said it during the interview portion, but Chris, you're welcome back anytime. to talk about shit. As always, there special thanks to our musical guest for just great music. God, I love the musical component of the show. Spectacular. Just spectacular. And as we say every week, if there are any musicians who would like to have their music featured, just let us know. We love having you on. Anybody that wants to be on the show, we've had quite a few people actually express interest in coming on and being guests. If there's any more people out there who are listening who would like to come on and talk about stuff, you're welcome to come get in contact with us and talk to us. We have some very, very interesting guests and interesting people we're going to talk to in the next couple weeks that we're lining up. So be on the lookout for that. And I guess that is it for this week's episode. As always, this has been Keem and Esmè. And we...
Sorry.
God, that was so late.
I know.
And with that, we are out.
But there are these things that matter, and they really fucking matter. There's like 4 things that matter, and they really fucking matter. I mean, objectively, I mean, you should care, especially you, if you thought about it for 5 fucking minutes.